So welcome back to the weekly review. Gold, silver, platinum, iron ore, which should you invest in? Some say it should be gold as it is the current hype nowadays, but some say it's better to look at the underdog, silver. Which should you buy and why? Which will prove to be the better investment in the long term? I had a chat with bullion trading expert Ghani on this one. Let's compare and contrast gold or silver. We shoot on to our first question. What is bullion trading anyway? What is the core value of bullion trading?
Well, bullion trading in today's market basically is for people who are looking to hedge their wealth against inflation. That essentially is it, where people actually buy bullion, and bullion is seen as things that are precious metals that are above 999. So with that, you're able to preserve your wealth.
Ah, I see. So, what is the difference between bullion trading and Islamic pawnbroking? Is it the same in jewelry terms, or maybe it's the monetary term as well?
Right. It's not quite the same. When you look at, I'm assuming that you're talking about the Al Ranu.
Right.
Yeah. Al Ranu is slightly different. That's more like microcredit, where you're looking at like a pawn shop system, whereas bullion trading is for people to buy actual bullion and trade that to hold their wealth. Whereas the other one, Al Ranu, is for people to actually get finance.
Right.
Yeah, so it's quite different.
So is it, is it good to invest in bullion trading in the first place? Say when we all have money, why should we invest in bullion in the first place?
That's a very good question. Well, when we first started, we realized that with the last financial crash, a lot of people then realized that you can't actually put your entire trust in the financial market.
True.
So what is the other option? Property is one option. Yeah. So the other option that we looked at was actually bullion, because bullion actually holds its strength in terms of its value over many, many years. So that's what we get people to look at. Yeah.
So when you get people to look at bullion as an alternative of investment, so what is the first step, or what do we have to do before we invest in bullion?
Okay, that's a very good question as well. Well, one of the things that one needs to do, actually, which we recommend very highly, is actually to read. Because there are lots of books out there. This is one example. This is Silver by a guy named Ghani. Essentially, these books will give you a very simplistic point of view of how you look at bullion trading. And in this particular one, we're looking at silver.
Right.
Yeah, there
are several books too, right?
Yeah, several books.
Maybe we can look at the close-up with some of the books.
Yes, certainly.
Maybe
certainly.
okay.
Yeah. This camera?
This camera. Okay. Maybe. So when you talk about this book, so this book is particularly on silver. Why silver?
Again, very good question.
Right.
I love your questioning. In Asia, we've always been focusing on gold.
Right.
And this is because it's traditional.
Gold is a safer bet, right?
Well,
gold is valuable than silver.
This all began because Asians have always traditionally looked at gold because of our forefathers. When our forefathers gave away presents, like when somebody gets married, somebody has a new baby, it's always been gold.
Right.
You don't receive silver. But if you look at the two values, gold and silver, today's value of silver has appreciated a lot more than gold. Why? Because the actual amount of gold that's available above ground is very short in supply. And therefore, the value is starting to rise and rise.
Okay.
So only the Westerners have actually seen this. Asians are still particularly looking at gold, and we, as our company, tries to get people to say, look at the other side, be contrarian, look at silver. And today people are starting to open their eyes. In the West, people have already done that. A lot of people have already accumulated gold, but they're starting to look at, hang on, let's look at silver. So we're trying to encourage Malaysians, Asians, to start to look at silver.
So, for pessimistic, they say, silver is nothing, gold is everything. We use gold in our jewelry.
Yes.
When we use silver in our jewelry, they don't have any value. So why should we choose silver instead of gold?
Okay, when you look at, in terms of the actual appreciation value of gold and silver, gold for the last 10 years has appreciated averagely over the last 10 years per year about 30-odd%. Silver over the last 10 years has risen about 167% on a yearly basis. So with that, you begin to understand that where do you want to put your money, to gold or silver? I'll give you another example. If you look at the ratio between gold and silver, it used to be 1 to 16,
Right.
which means for one piece of gold, you can afford to buy 16 pieces of silver. Today, the ratio is about 1 to 52. And that's basically telling you that silver is undervalued against gold. So if I told you that a certain stock in terms of shares is 3 times undervalued, would you look at, you would consider buying it? You would. So similarly with silver. So people are starting to say, hang on, if I bought silver with the same amount of money that I buy gold, I actually get more silver for my buck.
Right.
So this is one area that people are looking at.
So when you say that, 1 to 52 right now,
Yes.
why should I carry a bulk of something when I can get one of something is fairly much more, easier to carry than the other one?
Excellent question. Well, our company is not just a purveyor of physical metals. Yeah, we started off as a purveyor of physical metals, and then we saw that if you are going to support this industry, you need to provide ancillary services.
Exactly.
Right. So our ancillary services comes in the form of when people start to buy precious metals, where do you store it? For you to store it at home, then you're putting yourself at risk. If you store it in the bank, then you've got limited spaces and there's a cost to it. So what we've done is that we've actually provide very cost-efficient systems for people to buy and store it with us. Yeah? And all the sites that we provide are off-site, which are fully secure. So people then have a peace of mind. I can buy precious metals and I know it's stored in a secure place. We also target different markets. We've got our middle range market, we've got our low end market, and we've got our upper end market.
Right.
So let me explain the upper end market. The upper end market, we tied up with a company, which we're very proud of to sign an MOU. This is a company called the Singapore Precious Metal Exchange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Well, what is this about?
Yes, exactly. This is very interesting. Singapore Precious Metal Exchange was set up in Singapore within an area called the Singapore Freeport. This is a very maximum security vault that's built right next to Changi Airport. It provides for very high security vault systems. It also provides for insurance that covers up to 1.2 billion US dollars per claim.
That is very secure.
Absolutely. So for our clients who can afford to acquire above 1 million USD worth of bullion, then we would actually promote this to them and they would actually store it within Singapore. So next question people ask, but Terry, your company is Malaysian. Why are you putting this facility in Singapore? Yes, that's a very good question. So simply because when people buy bullion, number one, they're already doing something. They're hedging their wealth, which means you're not putting your eggs in one basket. Like the fact that they probably bought property, they've also got stocks and shares, but they're also hedging by putting it into gold and silver. Yeah. Now, once you do that, you also don't want to put your gold and silver in any place that's risky. So how do you choose where you store your gold, or where do you decide to store your gold? So Singapore is the only country that has AAA rating by Moody's, Fitch's, and S&P. And that's the reason why this facility is built in Singapore, because it's the only Asian country that has AAA rating.
Right.
Which means you don't have any fear of political problems, war, or what have you. And this is obviously secure. Once you put your facility here, or your bullion here, you also then have the advantage of being able to trade each piece of gold and silver where it's done in a unit point. Therefore, when I, say, assuming I'm a customer and I'm wanting to sell it to you, and you're also a customer.
So I don't actually hold the bullion in my hand.
Absolutely. So all this is done online and nothing moves, because if I buy it from you, the transaction is done automatically.
Right.
And does the bullion move?
It's much safer then.
Absolutely.
Right. So why don't Malaysia have something like this?
Well, we would love to do that in Malaysia. So we are looking towards launching another product. This product will be actually towards the mass market.
Right.
We're looking at safe deposits, whereby we provide a secure system with very good SOP, probably one of the best in Malaysia, to allow people to store smaller amounts of bullion.
Right.
Yeah. This one is obviously very high volumes, simply because of high security and the insurance coverage, and the fact that it's placed in a AAA rated country. And that makes all the difference. Yeah.
So when we say about the mass market and the high-rise market, you know, how can you attract the, you know, the usual person to buy these kind of bullions? You know, some people might say, you know, I don't really have a lot of money, you know, all I have is this and this. So why should I buy this kind of, you know, or this bullion when you know, it cannot secure me anything? I don't know what to do with this. So how can you actually attract them to buy?
Yes, that's a very good question. This is where we come in with a product.
There are a lot, right?
Yes, there are lots of products. So we've now looked at people in terms of the affordability. As I said, this first product that I talked about, which is basically our storage system, that is for the ultra high net worth client, because this is for somebody who's got $1 million to play with. And then we look at the mass market. You know, you've got the pyramid here, where the top are the ultra high net worth clients, and here is the masses, the you and I. Yeah. So with the mass market, what is the affordability level? So we decided to create silver products, not so much gold, because if I were to try and sell gold to them, the affordability level is very, it's not there. Because today, 1 ounce of gold is about $1,600. 1 ounce of silver is about $30 US. So in terms of affordability, it is easier for somebody with a lower income to acquire silver, not gold. So we created this product, which is basically a dirham. Yeah, a dirham essentially is pure silver. And we are the first.
You have like a certification or something?
Yes, this is a certificate of authenticity, simply because we decided that most times when people sell dirhams, it is sold literally just as a coin. Yeah, we decided to be different. To begin with, we designed this by a Malaysian designer. It's excellent. Well, we think it's really nice. We also are the first company in the world to design it in the language of English rather than in Bahasa Malaysia.
I can see that there is Islamic design. Why is that?
Yes. For all dirhams, there should be a Bismillah on it, which we have together with our Islamic geometric design. In this face, we've actually are the first company to put it in English, not in Bahasa Malaysia, not in Arabic. And people ask us why. There's no rule that stops you from doing that. And the reason why we decided to do this is because we wanted all our dirhams to be globally accepted and globally appreciated. So
I can trade it anywhere that I want.
Absolutely. And we want people to then start appreciating a coin like this. Then we took it one step further. We then decided, you know, unfortunately in the world, there seems to be this issue with how wealth or lack of wealth creates conflict. This is among people, this is among nations. So we decided that to begin with, our company goes out to help balance this wealth by getting people to acquire silver and gold. By doing that, you are starting to retain your wealth because it stops inflation. And so when we introduced the dirham, we decided to put this slogan, which is basically our tagline. It says, "One world, may peace be upon our planet." Why? It's the only dirham in the world that has it. Because we feel that when people start to acquire dirhams like this, to begin with, they will not melt it down. Very few people will actually melt it down.
This is actually collectible. So, I mean, I realize that you're actually producing you know, bricks like this too. It's actually heavy. It's one kilogram?
Yes, this is 1 kilogram.
Really, it's very solid silver when you say like that. So what? But when we compare it with the dirham, you know, you have the certification.
Yes.
So can we own these and these two?
Actually? Certainly.
Really?
Okay, I'll tell you the difference between these two.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is very simple.
It's very heavy.
Yeah, heavy, but very simple. It doesn't have huge designs on it, and this one does. Okay, so what happens is that this, no doubt, is a smaller piece of silver. Yeah, smaller weight, but it has more what do you call it? Work done on it. So the premium of this product is higher. Than this one. But what then happens is that in terms of trading, yeah, I'll give you an example of somebody who bought our coin last year when we first launched our coin. This dirham was sold on the market for 268 ringgit. And the same person put it on eBay and sold it within the same day, and he sold it at 168 US dollars.
Wow.
So you see the difference? And the reason why he's able to do that is because these will eventually become collector's item. Because he knows that we've got limited edition of this. Whereas this one, because there are no fantastic designs on it.
Although it's very
fantastic,
simple.
Yep, But of course, if you're looking at buying very large volumes, then people would prefer a product like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So one last question, Terry.
Yes, certainly.
What do you think of the silver bullion trading market going to be like in Malaysia in the next, let's say, 5 years?
We are very bullish about it. I will quote a very wonderful video which everybody should watch and Google it. There is a documentary done by BBC, and the title, please remember the title. The title is For the Love of Money. Okay? In this video, it essentially traces how the crash of 2008 happened, and it interviewed all the ministers involved, including Alan Greenspan, who used to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve of the US. And the last frame of that video, they asked him this question: Mr. Greenspan, with your wealth of experience, can you tell us whether this crisis would happen again, and in what form? And his answer was, he smiled and he said, this crisis will definitely happen again. In what form, it may not be the same. So they asked him, how come you're so sure? He said, I'm very sure, because no matter what systems you place, what regulations or deregulations you place in the financial market, it will happen again because of human greed.
Human greed. Well, there you go, people. Executive Chairman of Mynet Capital, Sindian Berhad, Mr. Terry Ghani, thank you for having us in your busy schedule again. So my name is Siti Noab Sajuswan. So this is a weekly review with Terry Ghani. See you again next time. Thank you. Well, there you go, a little bit of what you have to know about bullion trading. Maybe it's time now you invest in a little bit in the bullion. Hey, better late than never, right? Well, we are going for a short breather now. When we return, how can you be a property millionaire? Stay tuned with us.